Hello, it's Bill, the knee pain guru. Today is Monday, April 13th, 2020. How's everybody sheltering in place going? Today we're going to talk about difficulty stretching after knee surgery. There's a tendency to, well, we'll get into that in a little bit. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications for future videos as I do these twice a week on topics that you share in the live chat or the comment section. I use that as content, ideas, topics for future videos. The more you participate, the more I'm able to help, the more I'm able to guide and direct you. There's a lot of people suffering with knee pain, baseline, and now we're doing the sheltering in place piece, so there's other elements that we need to address as well. So now we're going to get into having difficulty stretching after knee surgery. And I was thinking about this. My own experience, I had challenges with stretching after knee surgery, and there are a number of components that need to be considered, that need to be looked at in order to get the full flexion of the leg back, meaning being able to get your heel to your butt. It's a huge component. Matter of fact, I just remembered one more, or I just thought of one more. So in order to get that, to be able to stretch, and this is stretching your quad specifically, it's difficult to stretch the quad when the knee hurts so much. So we need to take that into consideration. You have the initial injury that you ended up having to have surgery for. So you've had torn meniscus, torn ligament, torn tendon. Something was going on in the knee. So you had an injury beforehand. That needs to be taken into consideration, as well as the surgery component. Your knee needs to heal after the surgery. So your ability to stretch the quad, get your heel to your butt, is going to be limited by the injury that you had, as well as the surgery. Namely being, if you had, for me, I dislocated my left knee 4 times before going to the doctor to find out what was going wrong in my knee. So I had a tremendous more damage in my knee than if I would have went the first time. I partially tore the ligament in my knee. It's a different animal. So the amount of injury or the amount of trauma that happened to your knee before you went to the surgery, which is another trauma, is going to limit the ability of bending the knee. So you have to take that into consideration. The type of surgery. If you have arthroscopic surgery, it's going to be a completely different animal than if they did a patella replacement on the ligament in my left knee. Something to take into consideration, because there was scar tissue that built up as a result of them cutting out the patella tendon in order to recreate the ligament in my left knee. A person who has the different type of surgery, meaning a hamstring graft, or they use a cadaver in the replacement of the ligament in the knee, is going to have different trauma that the surgery exposed the knee to. So these are elements you need to take into consideration in terms of full getting the heel to the butt. I see some people have joined. If you have questions, please put those in the live chat. Share what your diagnosis is, what's going on. If something doesn't jive or something doesn't make sense that I'm saying, can't raise your hand. We're not in that type of format, but please put it in the live chat and we'll be able to get a dialogue going. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking. Then there's the dealing with the scar tissue. Scar tissue could be from the type of surgery that you had, or it could be from the buildup of scar tissue in the knee as a result of the body producing the scar tissue to protect the knee from getting injured further. That's a component, that's an element that needs to be looked at. There's also swelling and inflammation that happens in the knee, not only from the injury, not only from the trauma, but also systemically in the body. Meaning if you have a diet where you're eating a lot of if you're eating a lot of fast foods, yes, baby.
I need help turning off it.
Just close it. Just close it. Okay. Everybody's at home. Anyhow, we figure it out. We roll with it. So you have the local inflammation in the knee from the trauma that the knee has experienced. We also have systemic inflammation in the body depending on your diet. You're eating a lot of sugar, you're eating a lot of processed foods, you're eating fast food. The ability of the body to reduce the inflammation to recover is going to be way different than a person that's eating whole foods, organic foods, growing their own foods, whatever, that different type of situation where they have foods that aren't causing inflammation in their body. You also have to take into consideration that the muscles are going to be tight. There's tension that builds up in the muscles, as well as the fascia and connective tissue that surrounds the muscles. So you're working through that neurological response of the body tensing up to protect the knee from getting injured further, from all the trauma, the injury, then the surgery. Now you're on the other side of that. One thing that made a huge difference in my ability to get full flexion in the knee was the tension I had in the hip. A lot of that up on the same side, the hip on the same side as I injured the left hip was very tight. Because what happens is when the body protects itself from the injury, it pulls up the hip. It also bends the knee, so you tend to walk more on the balls of your feet or your toes because you don't want to extend the leg. And that creates a tension pattern in the leg that the body locks into so you don't injure it further. So you have to look at the tight muscles in the legs, as well as the tension of the muscles in the hips. And then the last one, that this one made the biggest difference, is making sure the joint is lined up correctly. In order for the leg to, the leg essentially folds upon itself. So the femur, the bone in the upper leg, and the tibia and the fibula, the bone in the lower leg, there needs to be a slight twisting in order for the leg to fold upon itself to be able to get the heel to the butt. When there's a tension pattern that gets locked in the joint, what ends up happening is the bones don't move enough to be able to fold upon themselves. My own personal experience with that was once I got the bones lined up in my knee correctly, the scar that was on my knee from the patella replacement that they did actually shifted a quarter to half an inch. And it was one of the most profound experiences that I had ever had, because the trauma got released pretty quickly, as well as the scar shifted. And it was quite an interesting experience to feel the connection between the physical experience of discomfort and then the emotion that moves once that physical component is released. That's what a lot of people, I see the majority of people with knee pain struggling with, is that connection between the physical and the emotional piece. They want to get it done. They're very type A personality. They have a list, they have an agenda. And once you start releasing these tension patterns of pain in the physical body, all of that frustration and anger and depression and sadness and stuff starts coming up, and it can throw people for a loop. So if you're having difficulty with stretching, after you've had a knee surgery, you have to take all of those different components into consideration in your recovery process. I know it can seem like a lot. However, if you do need more help, you would like more help, then I'll give you some action steps here. One is you can head on over to the kneepainguru.com website, and I have a daily newsletter that helps give you a different perspective, education, understanding of what's going on in your knee, different way of looking at it, because if what you were doing was working, then you wouldn't be searching on the internet for another approach. The second is you can also become a member of my group coaching program. It's called Knee Club. I have a special going now, the Shelter in Place special, which is waiving the membership fee, and then it's just a monthly cost to access the videos that I give for homework on the twice weekly group coaching calls. So I'll give you specific things to work on, to focus on, to address in order to get relief in your knee today, and then see what that follow-on is from there. Got some people on the line. Any questions, comments, nasty remarks? Nothing? What do you have going on? You're happy, everything going good with physical therapy, sheltering in place? Okay. Well, there's the initial video. There's the website. I put that in the live chat. You can check out the website. You can get on the newsletter list. If you're on the newsletter list, then I'd encourage you to join Knee Club as we really can dig in, because giving you information is good, and educating you and pointing you in the right direction is good. But in terms of like specific, and I refer to them as pain pattern interrupts, to make a difference in your knee right now, it's kind of the equivalent to throwing you the keys, throwing a 16-year-old the keys to a Corvette. It's a very powerful healing mechanism we have. Our nervous system, our brain, our physical body, all the nerves that go down our spine out to our fingers and our toes. It's a very powerful healing mechanism. And there's a lot that can happen on the other side of beginning to engage these reflexes. So we want to make sure, I want to make sure that you have the help and support on the other side of, well, what happened? The pain moved. What does this mean? The pain changed. What does that mean? The pain went away for 15 minutes and then it came back. Now what do I do? Does that mean your program doesn't work? No, there's more steps to it. And that's why most people get stuck, because they're looking at a very black and white. I'm either doing exercises or I'm stretching, and if it works or not, and if it doesn't, I'm going to numb the pain. This is playing like 4D chess. There's layers to understanding how to unlock your knees, your body's healing capability, as well as supporting you in that process so you're not left out flapping in the breeze because you're stuck. Okay. Well, those are some steps, things to consider when looking at you have difficulty stretching after knee surgery, as well as some action steps you can take. Get on the newsletter list, join Knee Club. I would also encourage you to give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, the Knee Pain Guru YouTube channel, as well as turn on notifications for future videos. This is Bill Paravano, the Knee Pain Guru, going to sign off for today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video.